Hey all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome Niki Sue Mueller. We are so excited to be connecting today for our May New Moon Musings. And hi, Niki Sue, how are you?
Good. Nice to see you. I missed you last month.
I know. I told everyone that you were on a much needed vacation. I didn't know where you were, but I knew it was tropical. And so I kind of put that out into the world, but I'm glad to have you back, and you look tanned, and I'm jealous. I'm envious of the tan.
Well, you'll be out by your pool sooner than I will in Jackson, Wyoming. It's still, snowing here. So
Yes, and it's 84 degrees. I'm actually sweating like a pig today in my studio because it's so hot and the heat rises, and my studio is on the second floor. So yeah, I say I'm jealous and envious, but really I'm very grateful that we are kind of into our spring here. I needed that. So snow is not for me. It's not cool. All right, you ready to dive on in?
yeah.
Okay, so this month I'm using the Wizard's Tarot from Barbara Mueller. I felt like we needed a little bit of wizard energy. So our new moon card, the new moon starts on, what is it, the 30th this month?
Yes.
Awesome. So new moon starts on the 30th this month, and our energy, oh boy, 10 of Swords. So this card to me always reflects it's sort of the in-between stage of the phoenix. It's not the phoenix combusting, and it's not the phoenix rising. It's the phoenix in the pile of ash. And you're not quite who you were, and you're not quite who you're becoming. You're figuring it out in the messy middle. And so I feel like kind of the general energy that I'm getting here with this new moon reading, and especially this position, is that there's going to be a lot of messy middle. There's going to be a lot of restlessness and I want to say lack of clarity for a lot of us in terms of feeling like, okay, there's something that needs to shift. Or this has been coming up a lot too. It's like, oh my God, I'm at work and I think I left the burner on, but I can't remember. So it's driving me crazy. And now I have to figure out how to get home to make sure I turned the burner off. Like I forgot something important. I feel like this is kind of the energy of what we're stepping into with new moon. And I also want to say with the 10 of Swords, Swords is the realm of the mind. It's mental energy. And I feel like we need to make sure, we need to monitor where we're at in terms of our monkey mind. Are we overthinking? Are we overcomplicating things in our space? Because this also is saying don't overcomplicate, right? Don't overthink. I'm done, stick a fork in me, and I got to move forward. We don't need to overcomplicate things in our lives. What are you getting, girl?
Well, I mean, I feel like, yeah, it is at a crux moment, hence what you were saying earlier. Fear of crisis, the stuff that has been bottled up. And then with the 10, it feels really aligned with actually the lunation itself. Is at 10 degrees. So the new moon technically is at 10 degrees in Taurus this month.
That's cool.
So this is about dealing with kind of what's gone on and coming to this point of having to really figure it out and make some kind of shift. And I want to say in what we're building, our foundations, Taurus is about like our structure. So this is how we're living on Earth, and there's some kind of I think there's some kind of messaging around something new. Also in the lunation, I mean, I was going to show the chart earlier.
Yeah, share the screen
just so we can really kind of see into this a little more. This is the chart for the new moon. And the new moon, which the card that you picked is for this exact date, starts on this exact date. And then it's like, we'll go for a few days. We'll be in this card. Mm-hmm. And here you have the moon and the sun at 10 degrees in the sign of Taurus. And so this also has to do with foundations, our finances, our relationships, how we're living and what we're enjoying, how we're enjoying our lives, all this stuff. And there's this kind of idea of like something new here in the one, because in numerology, 1 + 0 = 1, which is a new beginning, which is
And
so
the new beginnings based on an already established foundation. And I'm noticing the Taurus is at 28 degrees, and that's also a 10.
yes, well, that's really nice. Good call right there. So that's all happening there. And then the 10 card you've picked, you're pulled. Also, you can see the lunar nodes, the north node where we're going, the direction that we're going is aligned with this new moon in Taurus. So it's heavy Taurus energy. And the south node, what we're leaving behind in Scorpio, is at 22 degrees. And the square is almost exact Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn in Aquarius is about, again, it's about having boundaries, foundation. And in a water sign, it's like, this has to do with like what we're like really figuring out, using our higher minds. There's a lot of higher mind energy here because this squares, the structures that we're building. So I think that square is kind of, a square is a point of tension that has a release. So a square is
Interesting.
a crisis. It goes back to the card, but once we figure it out, there's a release.
Yeah.
So this is sort of the battle of the fixed signs between all these signs are fixed: Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. And in a square, it's kind of like, where are we moving towards in our foundation? A lot of thinking around that. And we need to think a bigger picture, which is Aquarius, and really figure out innovative ways to do it. But sometimes we get stuck, fixed signs, and really what we've owned, what we've thought, what we've felt in Scorpio and not want it. So it's about really releasing emotional ties to move forward to where we want to go and use some innovation, create a structure around it, focus it. Saturn wants to focus. Saturn, as Jeff says, is there with its clipboard, trying to figure it out. The new moon brings in that sweet energy of like really finding something new. And then you've got all these planets in Pisces. You've got Jupiter, you've got Venus conjunct exactly at 27 degrees.
Yeah.
The past 6 full moons were 27 degrees. So 27 degrees is a huge, important degree. And in numerology, that's a 9, 7 + 2. This is like, we are at an end of a cycle here. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It represents our karma, really what we're leaving behind, how we can learn from that. I want to say, like, this is a huge energy that's supportive of this new moon that's conjunct Uranus, which is planet of sudden change. There's all this like sudden change energy. Like,
Yeah, it makes sense with the 10 of Swords, because it really is saying, hey, you don't have a choice. It's dead. It's gone. It's done. You don't have a choice. You have to accept the change. It's just a matter of, are you going to accept it kicking and screaming, or are you going to accept it with open arms? And this is how you're moving forward. So that makes a lot of sense.
Well, it's beautiful when you look at this, because Jupiter and Venus conjunct is like powerhouse of like the planet of abundance. Jupiter, these are good luck planets. Venus, which is like such a loving energy, but it's also like relationship and strength within relationship. And this to me feels very supportive of this intensity of this full moon, or new moon rather. It's also an eclipse, partial solar eclipse. And whenever we have eclipse energy, that's also the energy of sudden change and shocks. So usually something kind of happens. And I want to say we could feel this in the earth at large with it being in Taurus. I don't want to like predict, I'm not predicting anything, but we could hear about some kind of like earthquake or something that's happened, because usually with eclipse, some sudden shock comes. But I do love this idea of having this beautiful energy to support it. Let's hope we don't have a huge tsunami with this Piscean energy.
Yeah, with the water. Yes, always
big, strong new moon.
Yeah.
So, I'll stop the share, but I can pull this back up again at any time. Because it's really cool to look at it. So.
Oh, absolutely. For me, I'm all about the visual. I want to see something, and then I want to experience it. So our waxing crescent. So this is about, sort of 3 days ish after the new moon. Oh, wow. Okay. This May is bringing in some sword energy, some serious sword energy. So we have 5 of swords.
Ooh.
Okay. So folks, this is the card of conflict. And what I'm getting here is waxing crescent. What we're going to be sort of transforming into is, yes, we've got the death with the 10 of swords, you know, that phoenix energy. We've also got sort of a dead body here. She's laying in the grass. And we've got somebody who is, I'm going to say, not necessarily, I'm going to say this is someone who's a bit morally ambiguous, and they're walking away and they're taking their swords. And 5 is all about change and transformation. What I'm really feeling here is the energy in this waxing crescent is really about being aware of what you stand for and being very clear about the fact that not everybody else stands for that same thing. You know, so many people, myself included, we think a certain way and we just automatically assume that other people think that way too, or that we might be on the same page and working towards the same thing. But everybody has their own motivation. Everybody has their own purpose, what drives them, or the reason, you know, for why they're doing something. So I feel like the message here in this next couple of days is getting very clear on what you believe, and getting clear on the fact that not everybody else around you believes that. So that's going to help you in terms of communication with others. It's making sure that you are expressing yourself clearly, that if you have to repeat yourself 2 or 3 times and get clarification from the other person that they understand you, by all means, step into that. Don't be afraid to repeat yourself or to ask clarifying questions, because I feel like a lot of us are going to think that, oh, we're having a conversation with someone that's on the same page and we all get it and we all understand where we're going. But you're going to discover, no, how other people are perceiving it, receiving what you're giving. You want to get clarification, because the change is coming, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're running into somebody who's a bit morally ambiguous and now you're compromised, right? You're in a space of having to clean up the dead body. You know, you're left holding the bag. That's kind of the energy of what I'm getting. What are you getting, girl?
I mean, just that tension that you could be, and what I'm saying is like being stubborn, and it kind of goes back into the energies of the planets. And I showed you how the Saturn is squaring the north and south node, and it's I mentioned that it's a battle of the fixed signs. So it's kind of like over here in this corner is Aquarius being like, I know the right way for it to be. And then over here is Taurus being like, but we've always done it this way. I don't want to change. And then you have the Scorpio like really pissed off in the other corner, but not even saying how they feel, because it's like they look like they're going to sting you. So it's like, and they're getting all emotionally heated up about it in Scorpio. So it's like, it feels like that kind of tension where nobody wants to like give in, and they're like stuck in digging their heels in. You could be digging your heels into something where it's like really important. It's fine to own what you believe, but like being really open and curious about what other people are thinking, and that is good for the relationship, as you mentioned, just being able to like, you know, not be so stubborn. I think stubbornness is really what's coming up for me.
Yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. And I loved your analogy about, you know, and in this corner weighing 172 pounds, we have, because that is in many ways, when I look at these 2 cards together, the 10 and the 5, that is exactly what it is you've got people who are very focused on their own stuff, and their own stuff matters and their own stuff means something, but there's no flexibility. You know, the sword is not a flexible thing. The wand might be a little more flexible, right? Because it's made of wood, right? It's made of an organic material, but a sword is forged in the fire. You know, you're not going to bend that. It's likely that you'll break it off before you'll bend it, right? So you're right, it's the stubbornness and recognizing, you know what, this person might be digging their heels in about it, and I just need to understand that they're coming at it from that more stubborn place. Maybe I need to not be so stubborn, you know, or maybe this is not the time to come to a resolution. Maybe this is a time to really evaluate, okay, you're not happy with it and you're not happy with it and I'm not happy with it. So maybe we need to do things differently. Maybe we need to review the process and not go with any one particular viewpoint. It's how can we incorporate all of these in order to get where it is that we're going and move forward. So yeah, very interesting. All right, so we are at our first quarter moon. Feeling a lot of heightened emotion energy. I know you had just mentioned, that the Scorpio gets in the corner and is, getting all emotionally heated, but I feel like there's a heightened energy that we're going to be tapping into in the first quarter. Something big transpiring, something that that no one's going to escape from. Like everyone's going to have some level of experience with it. I don't know what that is, but when I say everyone, I do feel like global. So I don't know if there's something in the chart that explains that, but okay. So our card is 4 of Cups, and 4 of Cups is a card of review. Some people interpret this as a card of disappointment, review. If we're talking about review, it's reviewing where we went wrong or reviewing how things didn't go quite the way we thought. What I love about this particular depiction in this card is you've got this guy and he's sitting in the library and he's got all of these amazing books behind him and he's sitting at his desk and he's bored. He's not looking behind him. It feels like he's read all of this stuff. He's already knowledgeable in this. He's already explored all of these books. He needs to move forward. He needs to get out from behind the desk in order to infuse his life with a little bit of light and a little bit of energy. He needs to get out of that library and go buy some new books. But he can't see that because he's stuck in, I want to say, certainty. He's stuck in the security that the desk brings. He's a little stuck in what feels safe. That's how I want to put it. So I feel like for us in this first quarter moon, we do need to recognize where our safety actually holds us back. Because this is not a time to hold back. This is a time when we're talking about 4s, it's foundation. There's already a foundation for you to be able to move forward. This isn't necessarily that you have to build a foundation, although it can have that, but I'm not feeling that today when I'm looking at this card. It's more about the foundation is there. If you want something, you got to step out and take it. This is saying the universe can help you. The angels can help you. You can reach out to source to help you, but you've got to take the first step. You've got to actually do the asking. And if you're not doing the asking, you're going to remain stuck. Safe is only safe until it's not. And I feel like that's kind of what we're focusing on. What are you getting astrologically with this?
Well, I mean, first of all, in general, contemplation, right? Obviously contemplation, but sometimes we have this like disillusionment. This is like reminding me, you asked about the Scorpio energy. So the Scorpio energy that right now is important is that the South Node is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is like secrets and stuff that we need to kind of deal with. This to me is like, I always think of this card, a little bit of like inner child stuff that we haven't dealt with. Then because of that, we have a sense of disillusionment. And it's a point where you can have a breakthrough. Yeah, this kind of moment of contemplation, if you use it right, you can have a breakthrough. And then we get even more into like illusion and issues with that in the 5, right? So it's like, it's almost like another crux point in a different way than the 10 of Swords. And don't let your emotions get in the way. That's Scorpio energy. Anytime we're working with the South Node of the lunar nodes, this is about what we're ready to release. And in the South Node, this is ancestral stuff. So I said inner child healing, but sometimes that has to do with past lifetimes. Like this is about releasing other people's stuff, releasing the way we think what has been passed down to us, that we have to carry it on. Not to get caught in disillusionment, but to have a breakthrough instead.
Yes. Get out from behind the desk and see, that's the breakthrough. The breakthrough is getting out and learning something else, learning something new. I also love that you talked about the release. When we're talking about 4 of Cups, Cups is the realm of emotion. It's the realm of the psychic. And so this is basically saying, clear up your energy, clear up your channel. You can't move forward fully and completely if you're cluttered and you're carrying the past with you. So what do you need to release in order to be able to move forward into something that is more exciting, more enlightening, and more in alignment with the path that you're on? So that's really cool.
When you were speaking of what's happening globally, and this idea of the Taurian energy, the Taurus energy, is about the earth. And so there are things that we need, like that we've learned already. We've learned that we cannot deplete all our resources. We've learned that we have to deal with our own psychology in Scorpio around maybe the need to go get our coffee and use a paper cup. Like, I think there is something that we're dealing with our own psychology that does have an effect with the global.
Interesting.
And so there's something about this card and like figuring out that what we're doing to participate. How are we really dealing with our own psychology, and how does that affect the world around us, or even just the people around us?
That makes a lot of sense. Review within as well as review without, and come to some kind of conclusion so that you can move forward in a healthier way.
Even in the card has like the person who's reviewing, but with the books around them, that's the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's not even looking at the books.
Yeah. But there's a light in the middle glowing. So it's like, yeah, in this instance, along with the cosmos, it feels very much ourselves and the world, and really reconciling our role in a sense, but making sure that we're taking care of ourselves too along the way in order to have that breakthrough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's self-care. It's really self-care and self-awareness. It's self-awareness before it's self-care. Self-awareness. All right. So we have our waxing gibbous. We have our waxing gibbous. This is 3 of Swords. And 3 of Swords, so this is the 3rd sword of 4 cards picked. So we're definitely in an energy here, an air energy. We are dealing with issues of communication. We are dealing with issues that have legal ramification. We are dealing with intelligence. I also always like to say that the sword can be a weapon or a tool depending on how you use it. And if we think of that in terms of our thoughts, are your thoughts weapons or tools? And we're talking about 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords is the card, and it's not represented the same in this deck as it is in other decks, but typically the 3 of Swords, you get a heart with 3 swords that are stabbing the heart, stabbing through the heart. And so there's a card of, it's a card of heart-based energy, but what words can affect the heart. And I want to say, we were just kind of talking about the self-care piece. I feel like also there's an energy, there's an invitation in this card to really pay attention to how you are caring for yourself, because there are outside forces, outside thoughts, outside communications that, if left to their own devices, and if you are not, I want to say, in a boundaried state where you are protecting your own energy and you are protecting your environment and being very clear about your needs, those outside forces kind of get in and they can wreak havoc. And that's what this card depicts, is someone left the windows open and there's a major storm and it's blowing all the papers around. So no matter how much order you have, an organization you have, if you forget that one thing, which is leaving a window open, all of the rest gets affected by that outside force. So I feel like this is a card, especially in this energy and this time, in these 3 to 3.5 days that we're going to be into this, you really want to understand, you want to pay attention to what's around you, and you want to boundary your own energy, because what's around you can affect you greatly. One more thing I'm going to comment on: whenever I see sort of the checkerboard tiles on the floor, it always indicates to me that you're going to be dealing with the game of life. And you can choose to be a pawn in the game of life and just be blown hither and thither, or you can recognize that there is a game going on and you have the choice, you have the empowered choice to be able to say, yes, I'm going to play this game right now, or no, I'm not. I'm going to remove my game piece from the board and take some time to strategize beforehand. So I feel like some of the message around this is pay attention to the outside environment, pay attention to the little details, and don't allow someone else's words to knock you off course or to get you distracted from what you know you need to do. I feel like that's the self-care message that's coming through with this card. What's happening astrologically at this time?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts about this card. This is like this. First of all, this card was in our previous and it was my personal spread last month. It's been coming up a lot. This is the card for Chiron, which is the wounded healer. Last month, the Chiron was conjunct in Aries, conjunct the lunations, and just like Uranus is this month. So Chiron pulls up wounds that are deep, deep wounds for us. So it kind of makes me, it's kind of flowing into this sort of crisis start of this month for us. And then it comes to this point, and it's funny with the three of swords. First of all, the sword in yoga is the sword of discernment. It cut through the ignorance with the sword. So that's how you transmute the sword of something like of a sort of an avatar of death to this kind of slicing through and really figuring it out. And so I love that you mentioned the sword can either be a tool or it can be something that can be really difficult, but it is actually the medicine. So I always see the medicine of this card as really learning from the loss. So the card is, depicting loss and heartbreak and blood dripping from the heart. And it's like really learning from the loss and transmuting it into something, into a vehicle of change, into what it almost feels a little bit at this point in the spread that we're moving forward. We're moving forward through what we have really contemplated and learned, and all the challenges and the tension and but that breakthrough part, like it kind of comes out here a little bit more. It's like being a survivor. It's being it's really kind of moving forward, but learning from it, using the medicine of the sword. So it becomes, instead of poison, it becomes nectar.
Yes, it's going to soothe the soul rather than destroy the soul, or soothe the heart rather than destroy the heart.
But you are acknowledging the loss. And I feel like in the Four of Cups, it's like, he's not looking back. He's not actually seeing. So he's like, there's a sense of being disillusioned. But in the three, it's like the medicine is really acknowledging it.
Yeah, accepting it.
Accepting it.
Accepting it. And I like that you talk about Chiron as the wounded healer. You're going to be running in and bouncing into other people's wounds. That's that outside forces, is that people are going to be reactionary, and you don't have to be reactionary. You can witness it and provide the medicine. You can be the nectar rather than being the blood or being the sword that causes the pain. You can use it to shift it up. So that makes a lot of sense too with Chiron, with that being representative of Chiron. Wow, we're just hitting all the interesting cards. Oh, that's
the tower is going to come up next.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, like
we're going to get the devil or the towers.
Yes. All right. So this is our full moon card. We were already at our full moon spread. Oh, I love it. Queen of Wands, Queen of Wands. So what it feels like is the full moon, the queen steps in. All of this nonsense and shenaniganery has occurred. We are shifting in major ways. We're shifting regardless of whether we want to shift or not. So it's a matter of, okay, how do we move forward with that? And the Queen of Wands comes in and says, all right, enough of the nonsense. With my wand, I'm going to burn away all that no longer serves. I'm going to burn away the nonsense and shenaniganery. And what is going to be left is the magic of the, I want to say the core or the essence of us as humanity. I feel like it's leaving that burning away all the other stuff, all the stuff that doesn't matter, all of the stuff that is a distraction, defer and deflect, smoke and mirrors, burning all of it away and saying, all right, now I'm stepping into my sovereignty. I own my birthright to be here. I own my power. I own my ability to release, to recharge, to start fresh, and to say, enough is enough. We're stopping this game. And now how do we move forward? I always love Niki Sue's wording when she talks about this card. It's the witchy card, right? So that witchy energy. And I feel like for all of us in the full moon, it's going to be heightened sensitivity, heightened psychic awareness. And when you receive it, don't be afraid of it. It's coming through because it's going to help you to release all the stuff that we're going through. I talk about this as being sort of the messy middle. You don't really know who you are yet, and you don't fit into who you were. You're in that messy middle. You're in the birth canal. This is saying, all right, we got you. And now it's time to take charge. It's time to take your power back and say, okay, all of this has happened, but we don't have to say that it happened to you. We can say it's happening through you. It's happening for you. And how do you want to embrace this? You want to receive the psychic guidance that's coming through. You want to be open to what you're receiving, and you want to be smart enough to be able to apply it. You know, when the queen comes up with something, then she delegates, she dictates, you do this and you go over here and you do that, and this needs to be done and that needs to be done over there, and come back and report to me when everything is complete. And then I'll give you your next steps. It's taking charge of your life. I feel very much that this is a card of empowerment in the full moon energy.
Yeah. So she has this, mastery and self-knowledge and understanding. And at that point in this month, at this point, when we're in the full moon, it feels like we're going to be at a point where we're really kind of figuring ourselves out. I talked a lot about the Scorpio energy of our own psychology, and just kind of like really Scorpio is about, it's the therapist. It's like really figuring out the truth for ourselves about ourselves and how we fit. And this card having that very fiery, passionate, kind of can manifest things in that fire energy, but knowing that it's a closing of a chapter in a certain way. And then this idea of like lighting the fire, of using that knowledge, using that to really move forward. It feels like to me a little bit of the Mars and Pisces tone, which is happening right now. Mm-hmm. And Mars is coming up to join those other planets in Pisces. And Mars is like the fire energy. Mars is like that energy of like that drive that now I do understand how this has all evolved. What am I going to cut? What am I going to set loose in that Piscean energy of release? Because Pisces is the last sign. It's our karma. It's the letting go energy too. And it's like, what do I need to really release, accept, acknowledge? And how is that going to further my path? Because the full moon is always a time of reflection. It's the new moon is like when we plant something new and something new begins, but the full moon is the reflective energy. Mm-hmm. And so the self-reflection of and knowing ourselves really in that queen energy, and using that to really move forward, and that Mars will be helping us along the way.
Beautiful. I love that. Yeah, sometimes we can get fearful of Mars because Mars is such an intense planet. But I feel like in this case, Queen of Wands stepping in is basically saying, no, it's time to use it. It's time to use this intensity, use this knowledge, use this energy to propel you forward. Because you're moving forward anyway, you might as well be intentional about it.
Mars is a little softer in Pisces. Mars is not comfortable in Pisces because Pisces is a little bit slower and like not wanting to get up and go. But I think that since Mars is joining Venus in Pisces, Venus is exalted, which means that she's actually at home in Pisces. Mm-hmm. So she's a stronger energy. So it does bring into it, like it softens Mars a little bit, and they can work together to create more of this harmonious feel. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I have to look on the chart, but it'll be getting pretty close, Mars and Venus together. So they'll be working together in tandem.
That's fun. I like
Yeah,
that.
I love that.
I like that. I like the idea that it softens Mars, makes it a little more pliable, a little more flexible. All right, our Waning Gibbous card is the World.
Aw.
So I feel like this is a kind of an auspicious card to receive after we've, sort of gone through this first aspect of the month, and getting to the Queen of Wands, she burns away. And now you're able to say, okay, now I can see clearly why all of this happened. And I'm coming full circle. And not only am I coming full circle, but I am achieving wholeness. I'm achieving wholeness in my heart. I'm achieving wholeness in my soul. I'm bringing some quiet, some peace, some solitude to the monkey mind that was in the Ten of Swords. I'm now releasing a lot of that, knowing that I don't have to experience it anymore, and that I have come full circle, and that I have awareness of the why. I feel like we're going to be stepping into the energy of everyone is going to have an awareness of their why. Why am I doing this? Why am I choosing to step forward with this? Why? You're going to be asking yourself the question, why? Because you're coming full circle and recognizing, okay, I've gone through this path. Now it's time to get really to the heart of the matter, because I need to know if this is something I want to continue forward with, or if I want to scrap it now and start something new. This is the last card in the major arcana. And when the last card comes up, it means that you have taken the fool's journey and you have learned. You've gone through all of the stages and learned everything that you needed to learn about this particular issue or concept or path or theme, to this level, to the level that you're at. And now what's next? There's always something that's going to come. Again, you're coming full circle. You're just coming at it now with knowledge and awareness, with experience that you can apply moving forward. So I feel like this is significant that it's coming up at this time. It's also a 21, which is 3. So I feel like we do have some 3s represented here.
Yeah, the new moon, you were saying how it was judgment-like in a certain way. And it's funny because the Judgment card comes before the World at a point where we're like, we could go either way. We can sentence ourselves to this, or we can move forward actually to the World and really make a change. And with that 10, it was like, this change is initiating. Then we get to this point, and now you've pulled the World card, and that feels like, yeah, we're really finished up the chapter, but we had to go through all of that in the first half to really feel into it. So I love that this just came after the Queen of Wands, where we're mastering the self-knowledge, and then how can we use all that? The Mars was like propelling us forward, and now we're going, now we're really like the whole newness is really opening up here. This is like stepping through and having a huge breakthrough. And there's been some kind of achievement, of knowledge, of like really figuring it out, of going through the stages, going through the tension, going through the heartache, really learning from it all, and using that to transmute into a whole new stage of our evolution. It really feels like that. And I'm always seeing like a little bit of the Taurian new moon that we're starting with. This is the world. I said that earlier too. Like this is about the world at large. So
global.
This is global stuff. So that too will be revealed, something about a bigger, broader picture here that's beyond even ourselves.
Yes. And as you're talking, what I keep seeing is the rocket ship, and how it has its 3 stages where it needs to have, the bottom part of the rocket ship and all the fire and the fuel, and it propels the rocket ship up, and then it goes and needs that second layer in order to be able to burst through the atmosphere. But once it's burst through the atmosphere, now suddenly you see that it ejects parts that it no longer needs, because it served its purpose, and now it's going to turn into something that we don't need. Like it's going to turn into weight. Well, we don't need weight, we need weightlessness. And when you break through the atmosphere and now you're in space, you're floating. It's effortless effort. And that's what I keep hearing around this card as well, is we've gone through all of this work, and now there's going to be some effortless effort. So I feel also, you use this word relief. I feel like there's relief that also comes with this as well. It's a more peaceful approach. It's one of those things that, oh, okay, I've done the work. The queen has come in and she's, cleared things out. She's decreed, like you said, there's mastery. And now I can, it's not about enjoying the fruits of your labor as much as it's, okay, I can put this in cruise control for a little bit. I can allow the universe, I can allow the world to show me what's next rather than me having to prepare for it or having to create it. I can sit back for a minute and just allow things to flow. That's really awesome.
I mean, there's in the Thoth deck, it's the universe is the card. They call it the universe. And it's just really dealing with the totality of like of just the principle of totality. Like this is now, you have the total picture.
Yeah.
It's like you're really standing on the edge of the precipice in the judgment card. You have the whole picture. And now because of that whole picture, you can really like move forward with all of that knowledge. There's a sense of achievement in this card, I think. It's real and completion, and yeah, it's a really lovely
card. She's wearing a beautiful pink gown, and I feel like the pink, of course, is connected to the heart chakra. It's the unconditional love, self-love, self-care, self-compassion, self-forgiveness. So when you come full circle and you're including yourself in what you're giving to others, there's success in that. There's achievement.
In a circle, like she is like going through, she's got her eagle with her, like, she's got support.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got a fairy with her. She's got a hummingbird. She's got a little elf or a leprechaun, and then she's got a salamander. So she's fully supported. She's represented by all of the elements, and she's holding a wand and she's holding a staff in both hands. So she's prepared. She's good. She's ready to move forward, and she looks great doing it. So, I like that.
Doesn't look great in a pink dress.
Yes. Who doesn't? Exactly. I love that. All right. So we are at our Waning Gibbous card. Interesting. We got Page of Swords. So I love Niki. Niki Sue has helped me out with wrapping my head around a lot of the royalty cards, because I struggled with them for a long time trying to understand, because I don't see them as it represents this person and this person has these characteristics. My brain just can't absorb that. So this is, pages are the plan. You've received the ace is the pure potential. It's the idea that can become something amazing. Well, how do you make that potential? How do you explore that potential and see how it's going to work? You have to have a plan, and pages show up with the plan. So they say, ooh, pure potential. This is exciting. Let me explore what this can become. And when we're talking about, okay, we've got another sword card, we're talking about how to bring this newness. We've got the newness of the world, the 10 that's coming in. Okay, there's newness. There's something new that is transpiring here. How can we connect that newness with, I want to say, with intelligent action? How can we create a plan that is going to be inclusive to all without, I want to say, segregating or leaving anybody out of the situation? How can we allow ourselves to, I want to say, break out of the construct of what we think it's supposed to be and into the imagination space of, if the sky is the limit, or maybe if there is no sky and there's no limit and we can go as far as we can, what is possible? Don't limit yourself. Don't allow your thoughts to limit you. Don't allow the knowledge you already have to limit you. step beyond the knowledge that you already have. Go into the space of imagination. Pages also represent youth, innocence, the young, fresh thinking. That's what I feel this card is about, fresh thinking.
Yeah, there's this freedom from any kind of self-negative, self-degrading ways of thinking, the tension that we experienced. You know, this started with the Ten of Swords and like the tension, the difficulty, the nightmare, the like anything, the loss, the betrayal, all the swords we've already dealt with in this month. Now we've come to this point where it's kind of, there's a new energy, a fresh energy, moving forward like a child. Like swords are quick and energetic and ready to go, and really kind of, I'm thinking into that sword of discernment and cutting through any of our ignorant thinking, and really like, and being more of that childlike empty sponge and not kind of stuck in the habits of the mind, and being able to like really kind of dive into something completely new and fresh, and not, and we've in right now I'm kind of feeling into like we've already let go of the past.
Yeah.
That's already gone. Actually, this is completely new way of thinking and using the intellect. You mentioned the intellect. This is about the intellect, and really like, and it feels like the sword is a little more sharp here because it has not been, it hasn't been infected by conditioned existence, by our own fears and abstractions and obstacles and everything that we have, has been kind of carried with us. That world card actually, and Mars cutting that cord in terms of the astrology, like going through that cycle of Pisces and being at the end of it, and really like getting through and figuring out what we need to leave behind in order to free us up. And this cycle of Pisces right now is really bringing that forth with that the planets there that are supportive to be able to cut that, and then step into this card of like new, bright, freedom oriented energy. And we do it in a way that's thoughtful because the mind is clear. It's not even like we've sharpened the intellect because of our experience already. We have, but in a sense at this point, it feels like it's just fresh and clear because we finished whatever it was, cut those cords, and we're not even paying attention anymore. They're over. We can use that knowledge, but we don't even have to, it's just now embedded in us.
Yes, we've integrated.
That's the word, integrated. We've integrated.
Yeah. No, that makes so much sense. And I love that we are, you know, he's got the blue sky behind him. Not that the blue sky is, I mean, it's physically behind him, but it's, I feel like in the card, it's supporting him. It's saying, here's the newness, you know, the blue sky and the clouds, and be imaginative about what the clouds are showing you. Open yourself, because there's nothing holding you back anymore. You've released everything that could potentially cloud your judgment or influence you from the negative, from the past, from anything that is connected to old. Yeah, I love that. Awesome. All right. So we've got our, and that was our last quarter, I believe. So now we have our, did I get that right? Yeah, I did that right. Okay. So yeah, we are at our waning crescent. I'm sorry. I don't even think I said this was our last quarter card. I just started talking about it. That's why I'm throwing myself off. So waning crescent. Oh, how exciting. We got 9 of Pentacles, girl. 9 of Pentacles. Okay. So after everything that we've been through in the first half of the month, and we've now cleared away into, you know, after the full moon. And of course, the full moon, there is this waning energy where we're going within, we're being a little more reflective, we're planning, getting ready for the action phase of our next cycle. 9 of Pentacles says, oh my God, you've arrived. This is the gratitude card. This is the satisfaction card. This is the card that says, I am abundant. I have all of my needs met. The work and the effort that I put in has paid off. And I no longer need to allow fear to interject into what it is that I'm trying to create, because I've already created it. And so now I get to live it, and I get to pick and choose what I want to take with me as I move forward. Nines are endings, resolutions, conclusions. We have a lot of this energy in the spread. So this is saying gone is, as Niki Sue said about the Page of Swords, we've already been there and done that. We've released everything. We don't have to take any of it with us. That analogy that I used about the rocket ship, it's already gone through the atmosphere and shed everything it needed to shed. Now it gets to float around. You know, it's that effortless effort. It's the propulsion that comes from purpose and the propulsion that comes from the excitement of something new. You have everything you need. Be grateful for what you have in your space, because gratitude is what is going to bring more of it into your space. And Pentacles, everything that we've tapped into here, except for the one card, the Four of Cups, everything else is a sword, except for actually the cups and the wands, and then the world is the major arcana. But we basically are heavy in sword energy. And what happens is the sword is the thinking, it's the thought, it's the pure potential, it's the idea and the inspiration. And then we have to go through the process in order to bring it into the physical, make it manifest. So this is saying everything that we've put into place is now coming to fruition. It is in our now. It's physical, it's tangible. You can see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, feel it. This is excellent. And this is how we are ending up this particular lunar cycle, the new moon cycle, is we are ending on a high note. And I love that, because we have done some serious work this month. Holy cannoli. What are you thinking with the astrology with this one?
Well, I'm like, I really hope that you pull the Magician, because the whole spread to me is with that at the end is like the Magician.
Yeah.
You know, it's
right.
it's like really like bringing this idea to earth, taking from the divine and making it manifest, bringing spirit to earth. It's like, you know, this is a very like genius, very intelligent card. This is like where we really can pull from the page that makes us like, you know, just have a very innocent knowing of what things should be, like a child knows. But then like now we've actually come to where we can use that and manifest. How are we going to create our material well-being? And it reminds me of, you kept saying like with the Four of Cups, like nurturing. Even the Queen of Wands is like a very nurturing kind of loving energy that she brings into that self-mastery in a way that's like soft and loving. It just kind of feels to me like this is like, you know, how are we going to use all that's happened and not get stuck in anything of the past, but move forward? And we're actually feeling super sense of gratitude at this point that we've gotten here. Like, how lucky are we to have gotten here?
Yeah. Appreciation for the journey.
Appreciation for the journey.
For being on the other side of the tunnel.
I'm kind of feeling into also the Uranus, which is the planet of sudden shocks and changes. And it definitely brings to us things that we didn't expect, unexpected things that happen. It's also the planet of higher genius. The genius of it is like when you have some kind of craziness, what can result is beauty. So when you have a storm, then there's a rainbow. Like, it's like, so I'm feeling into this idea of like, just Uranus starts this new moon cycle on the sun and the moon in an eclipse. So there's this like sudden shocks, and who knows what's going to happen. There could be like complete change in people's lives all of a sudden. And we're going to go through that tension in the cycle, but there's going to be a certain genius that evolves from it. And it feels very much that this is going to manifest, and maybe this will result in people's work or money. You know, money is a part of this lunation with the Taurian energy and with the Scorpio energy. It's like there's a lot happening here that can it could be something global.
Yeah.
I get back to that too.
That's what I'm thinking. I feel like
Earth
is significant globally for all of us too.
Yeah.
And in this card, in the depiction, she's looking at her spell book. So there is that knowledge, there is that awareness, but there's confidence. You know, she's just got so much confidence that she knows that these spells are tried and true. She knows that all she has to do is, you know, say her incantation and put some intention behind it, and it's going to come to pass because she's done the work. So I feel like there's also a level of confidence, and this card has nothing to do with confidence. It's just kind of what I'm hearing is there's a level of confidence that we are, I feel, are all going to embody during this this waning crescent energy. Super cool. So let's pull our soul card for the month. And I feel like the soul card this month is going to really reflect the essence of our transformation, because this month is clearly very transformational. So I feel this is going to represent the essence of that transformation. Oh my God. Queen of Pentacles.
Aww.
Beautiful.
Good.
So we're in like
order.
a lion and out like a lamb.
This is a very crazy sort of order.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
so
like,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's just really striking me, you know, at the beginning with a particular lunation that it is a earth lunation. So the sun and the moon both in Taurus. Then you have that Uranus, which definitely would be like that 10 of swords. Uranus is, remember, it's like the genius planet that brings kind of like shocks. So it's like, you know, it started that way. And then the journey though is it's for this beauty to happen, for this little mastery of everything. I mean, with the Pentacles, it's a 5-pointed star. It's all of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all of the elements. We've got the fire,
Plus
earth, air,
spirit.
water, plus spirit. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's everything. It's bridging it all. It's bridging all these energies, even though we're heavy in the swords, and this is a big journey in our minds and in our, you know, in our intuition and in a lot of different things. It's also bridging it all together. And I want to say that it makes me want to highlight the Queen of the Queen of Wands and that Four of Cups that differed from the rest.
Yeah. That's
like,
kind
it's
of
like,
stood out.
those are highlights.
So Queen of Pentacles energy is very much the benefactor. I've got all my ducks in a row. I am completely stable and secure in all of my resources to the point where I can help everyone else out. I have a quality or an energy of Mother Nature, Mother Earth. I am happy to assist others, but I do it in my own time. And I feel like there's an energy, this being the soul card, it's also a reminder that we are all in divine order. We are in divine timing. We can talk till we're blue in the face about our timing, but the universe has its own way and pace of making things occur. And I feel like this is a reminder that, yeah, you're going through the soup. There's still a lot of stuff that you're burning away, but when you do the work, you come out the other side and you end up in this peaceful place. You end up in the place of stability and security. You get there in a way that you weren't expecting or anticipating, but that doesn't mean that you're not getting there. So also, along with what we're shedding, we also have to shed and release our limited idea of what something is supposed to look like. We need to open ourselves to receiving the magic of the universe, the magic of the magician coming in and saying, okay, well, we got all these resources. We can use them in infinite combinations. And your human brain might not be able to visualize the how it comes about. But your human brain is going to, when it shows up, say, oh my God, that was amazing. Thank you. And it was worth the wait, or it was worth the work. So this is a card of, you know, a lot of the energy here when we're talking about swords and we have the Queen of Wands. There's a lot of motivation. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of quick change. I think Niki Sue talked about that as well. And the Queen of Wands comes in to say, yeah, the quick change happens so that you can then relax and take in the fruits of your labor. You can relax and take in the fact that the work that you have done has come to fruition, and now you can be at peace with the shifts that have occurred. And you have all the resources that you could ever need. And you can always ask for help, because I am a queen and I have structure, I have organization, I am happy to delegate on your behalf. So this is also a message to don't be afraid to ask for help from your dreams.
No, it's the soul journey card. So that's the card that accompanies, it's almost an anchor card for the whole month. So
Yeah.
I kind of love that she's along for the ride, and she does represent this sort of success, material and otherwise.
Yes.
But I'm feeling into her being this anchor, that she is related to the Empress card. And there's this, you have a right to nurture yourself. You have a right to take your time.
Yes.
And it's again, it's like, it's a pentacle. So a pentacle would be Taurus. And it's like, you have Taurus moves a little slow, but finishes the job. Sometimes can procrastinate, but it is somebody you want on your team because they will get it done. They really care about their work. They want it done well. They're building something. So I want to say that along the road, that can be a difficult journey this month with all the sword energy. The Queen is there to say, like, look, take some time, nurture your heart in the Four of Cups, nurture your emotions, get clear in the Four of Cups so you're clearer in your intuition. Whatever along the way you need to do to make that happen, the Queen is there saying you have the birthright to be nurtured and loved and enjoy things, enjoy the fruits. You could use the Empress card as a Taurus card, even though the Hierophant is like the Taurus card in the tarot. This card strikes me as, and the Empress card as the Taurus card too, because Taurus enjoys all the delicious things in life. Taurus represents the senses. This card to me represents the senses as well. There's always like things growing, and it's very earthy, and you can smell the forest and you can feel the wind on your face. And it's like, enjoy all the things in life, but feel into everything with your senses. And whatever you need to do along the way to help you through this, like get a massage, go, if you get a pedicure and you get your feet cleaned, I mean, that just getting your feet clean could really release a lot of energy so that you can be more receptive. This is about receptive energy too. So it's like, then you can be more clear, like you were saying before about the Four of Cups in your intuitive, I want to say power, or so it just, it feels like a reminder. And I think this has come up several times of just self-nurturing. It doesn't mean like not do anything. It just means, what do I have to do? Fortify yourself, eating well, drinking enough water, or getting some juices, maybe spending a little extra money on some good food this month, and just self-care.
Yeah. And she's in this card, she's wearing all green and there's pink all around her. So it's reflective of the whole heart chakra area. So you're talking about that unconditional love, self-care aspect. And you're also talking about the healer, healed, healing. So I feel like exactly what you're saying, it's our soul card, and our soul card is a reminder to live from our heart space. That's why we're going through all of this, so that we can be fully connected and more fully expanded into our heart space at this time. So I almost want to say, yes, it's the soul card, but it kind of feels like it's the heart card, right? Heart together.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is our new moon musing for the month of May. So excited we were able to connect and do this. Niki Sue, why don't you tell people where they can find you and book with you? Because by the way, she's freaking awesome with her readings.
Thank you so much, Stacey. You can find me on Instagram at Niki Sue, Niki, just 1K, 108. That's my handle for that. I have a website, nikisuyoga.com, and you can find all of my offerings there. And so Niki Sue Yoga, NIKI SUE Yoga, YOGA.com. You can find me there. Those are the best ways to reach me and find me. I have Facebook, but I am really poor at using it. And, that's where
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Love it. And of course, Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, you can always check out my website, theblackfeatherintuitive.com. I also have Facebook, Insta, YouTube, the Black Feather Intuitive. Would love to connect with you in any way that I can. If you're interested, if you like these card readings and oracle readings and tarot readings, you might be interested in my Phoenix Rising event every month. It's the last Monday of every month, unless we hit a holiday, and then it's sort of the month prior to that, or the week prior to that. 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get a burning ceremony where we get to release all the stuff from the month prior. We clear it all away so that we can open ourselves to the new energy that is coming up in the new month. There is a very in-depth oracle reading. It's a roadmap for what is coming for the month ahead so that you know how to prepare. And I give 3 free readings away. So you can submit a question, you can get a reading or a card pull, and there's a little bit of a channeling in there too from whoever decides to show up. Sometimes it's from an archangel, sometimes it's from the collectives that I connect with, and the councils, but would love to see you there. Feel free to check it out. I'm going to put it in the link in the description below. Take care, guys. Have the most amazing month. Make sure you tune into your spread and just follow along with the, so every 3 days or so, you're moving into a new card, and we will come up with really unique ways to be able to connect with you, to emphasize and embody the messages of the cards. Take care, guys.